Well, my hearing aid battery just died. So, you know, if I don't understand you after this, you'll know why. I'm going to put it back in anyway because I don't have pockets. Okay, so I want to thank everybody who is here tonight. I know that the most valuable thing that you can give anyone is your time, and I don't take that for granted. I was so moved that my friends from my show came, and Sarah and Holland, you're not paying attention. And Angela. And what?
Angela was the one talking.
Oh, it's Angela's fault. Cheyenne, Jason, Billy Bob. We just did Bad Santa 2 together. Connie, his wife, and Steve Faust, his husband Danny. It's just amazing. And I, of course, want to thank all of our sponsors. Eric Johnson, we had a wonderful conversation. I got to understand a little bit more about your path to this, and I thank BSN Medical for underwriting all of this. And I have a special thank you to Ken Fujimoto from Mikimoto, who is one of our corporate sponsors. You've been so loyal and such a great friend. And June happens to be my birthday month, and my birthday stone is a pearl. So that is a sign, too, I've decided. And I want to thank Tactile Medical. I got to talk with Darren a little bit about some of their products. Biocompression Systems, Impedimed, LDEX, J.W. Granzow, Medi USA, Juzo, Eiger Biopharmaceuticals, which is one of the companies that Dr. Stockton just mentioned to you. It's so exciting. And all of our wonderful supporters and fundraisers, of course, Dr. Emily Eicher for roping me into all of this. You know, during our session, she says, "Don't you want to be a sponsor? I'm sure you do." You know, anyway, she's a California chapter chairperson, and I have to say a big thank you to Colleen McGuire, who always arranges these events and weekends with great aplomb. Thank you so much, Colleen. So, in a week, I'm coming up on my 4th anniversary as a breast cancer survivor, and on Labor Day, my 13th anniversary as an ovarian cancer survivor, so I'm very lucky to be standing here tonight. Thank you. To thank my doctors, Dr. Barry Rosenblum. And as a result of my bilateral mastectomy, I developed lymphedema, and I didn't realize until I met with Bill that 10 million Americans suffer with lymphedema. And to give you an idea of what that is, it's more than muscular dystrophy, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, ALS, and AIDS combined. MS Society spends $60 million a year on research. ALS raised over $100 million on, you remember their Ice Bucket Challenge. And last year, Alzheimer's received an additional $260 million in NIH research. 4 million Americans have Alzheimer's, 10 million Americans have lymphedema. Those are the odds that we're up against. We spend $600,000 for research in the next 2 years, and after that, our money runs out. So spread the word. If you don't really know what lymphedema looks like, go online. You can see some of the worst cases of people who are not brave enough to come out and show themselves, like Marie Apodaca, one of the people I'm so often happy to speak about. It's about, if you want to talk about courage, there it is, standing right there in front of you, Marie. I'm gonna try to keep up with you tomorrow at the walk run. So I didn't realize also that there are all kinds of lymphatic diseases, some that are unpronounceable. Some are congenital. Children are born with LE. Any traumatic injury to the tissues can compromise the lymph system. Wounded war veterans often suffer with lymphedema. But one type of lymphedema I learned about is particularly devastating. Young people in their 20s can develop a swollen limb just out of the blue. And it's thought to be a congenital effect defect in a particular limb that doesn't emerge until that time. And imagine being that age, you're just starting your life, your dreams, your future ahead of you, and all of a sudden, everything comes to a screeching halt. It seems to me especially cruel. But since I've become spokesperson for LE&RN, I'll remember, the facts have become individuals with faces, and there are just two stories that I want to share with you briefly. Pearl Ann Hines is one of those who, in her 20s, she was a dancer, and she suddenly woke up with lymphedema in her left leg. Of course, she was devastated. She was frustrated. She hid her leg for a while. And then she decided, you know what? No, I'm going to not stop dancing. And she choreographed a piece that's on YouTube called Hello World. But this is something I will never forget. This is what she said. If I continued to hide the reality, the power to change the legs of future generations would be lost. Then there's Emma Detlefsen, a child who from birth has suffered with lymphedema. She's often hospitalized with cellulitis, and that can be life-threatening. She became an advocate at 7, and at her speech when she was our ambassador on the Brooklyn Bridge Run Walk, she said, 7, if I can do something hard like walk back and forth across the Brooklyn Bridge, then maybe a smart scientist can do something hard for them and find a cure for this in my lifetime. So here's my thing. I think you've heard them talk about the fact that doctors don't know what this disease, our GPs aren't educated. And I was asking Stan Roxon on one of our trips, okay, come on, I don't get it. Why isn't there, I mean, look at the technology, the internet. Why can't we just like send the word out, have these guys read something, you know, what about JAMA, whatever. And he said, well, each state licensing exam is different. And because the doctors don't learn about lymphedema, it's not on the exam. They maybe spend 2 hours during their medical training learning about lymphedema, which is nothing. So here's what happens. You go to your GP, he's the first line of defense. He doesn't know what to tell you. He says, go home, put a warm compress on it. It's nothing, you're too fat, go home, lose weight. So some people, it takes years for them to find any kind of help or know what it is, and meanwhile, their condition just worsens. It affects their daily life, not only physically, but emotionally, mentally. And it's, when I said I was pissed off, that's why I did get involved in this, is because it just doesn't make any sense to me. And for example, there was a veteran who wrote to us, John Deo, and he'd been suffering with this for years. He thought maybe it was filariasis. A mosquito bit him when he was in Vietnam. And so he went to the VA. They said, go put warm compresses on it. Then he goes to the CDC. They send him to us. I mean, what the fuck? You know what I mean? I mean, you go on the CDC website, and there's this list of all these popular health topics, and lymphedema isn't there. We got to teach people about this, people that may even not know what they have, so they can really push their doctors for more testing, for more information, and that the public can really begin to educate their own physicians. And I have a big wish list of things. You know, a writer recently asked me during an interview, well, what do you want to have happen? What do you want to accomplish? What I've already told you, that I want the general practitioners to be educated. And I understand now there's some treatments that you can have even before surgery if you're at risk. And I want the public to be made aware of that, and doctors who are, you know, surgeons who are about to make these operations, because their focus is on curing you of cancer or whatever the disease it is. And I mean, I'm here, I can't complain about that. But it would be great if we could have a little help before we go in. And I wanted to say thanks to Dr. Eicher, and because I have money, I have insurance, I have a car, I know where to go. My lymphedema, I mean, I'm wearing my compression sleeves tonight. My lymphedema is very minor. I mean, I have it. I had a bout of cellulitis last fall in the hospital, but it's not disfiguring. It's there. I have to live with it, but I'm one of the lucky ones. Of course, we want the insurance companies to pay for a lot of this, well, for all of it, really. And we want the research dollars. And one thing that Bill didn't quite get into detail about. When we were at the NIH, we learned that researchers of the lymphatic system may one day have the opportunity to discover the pivotal role that the lymphatic system plays in the treatment of cancer metastasis, AIDS, autoimmune diseases, obesity, cardiovascular disease, and organ transplants. And these pathological heavy hitters might finally draw attention to our plight and the plight of millions. This is a long list of wishes, but I believe they can come true. You know, shoot for the moon, at least you'll land in the stars. Thank you so much for being here tonight.